am Tammy Beilstein. Welcome to Tammy's Window on Calaveras. I have with me today a woman that I adore. Her name is Marianne Garamendi. Oh my God, I might even tear up. You have no idea how much I love this woman. Her family is so well known. I mean, you hear the name Garamendi and automatically respectable. I think most everyone feels that way. Everyone feels that way.
Thank you.
But this lady here is a star. She's a star in her family. She was my son's teacher. Oh, Lord.
It's a while back, wasn't it?
It was a long time ago, like almost 20 years ago. And she means so much to our family. I haven't seen her in so long, but she's one of those people that you meet, you get to know, there's 1,000 things going on, but just every time you're with somebody, they make you feel special. And that's this lady.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
And I wish every kid in our county could have you as their teacher.
Thank you. Thanks.
So we could do a whole show on how big of a fan I am of hers, but she's here to talk about a program that she's involved with, something that she's been doing for about 10, 11 years now, and it's called STE, Stewardship Through Education. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. I'm really happy to help you understand some of the things that's happening with education and the opportunities that are out there for.
Tell me what this STE is.
Well,
what does it mean?
Stewardship Through Education is a program that bridges the gap between the community and the schools. What we want to promote is we want to promote stewardship of our watersheds by bringing together community partners in a collaborative way with the students so that the students are outside the classroom. The biggest thing is get them out of the classroom. We say the watershed is our classroom, and so that's the whole idea of it, is to bring them out, let them experience nature, let them experience the watershed. We usually have service projects for them to do while they're out there. And we have found that through them doing the service projects and being a part of their environment, they create ownership. And it's through that ownership that we have stewardship. And so I think without that feeling of being useful and helpful and making things better, I think that's where the stewardship comes in.
Well, was this your idea? Did it come from a group? Did you have 1,000 topics and you chose this? How did that happen?
Well, it was my idea, but I have some fantastic people, most of them retired educators, that believe that this is a really great philosophy of teaching and a different way of joining our community with our schools. And they are team. We're a team. We're considered a team. And we also have involved what we call the Watershed Alive team. And those are teenagers who learn about the watershed and learn the different aspects, whether it's water testing or whether it's what is the food chain, let's just say the food chain, and how does nature work? How does watershed stay healthy? And then they take that knowledge and they go into the elementary schools and they put on a Watershed Alive Day. And so it's those older kids teaching younger kids. Perfect. And when I say older, we're talking 6th grade teaching 5th, 6th, 4th, 3rd, whatever. So and they put on the watershed, or the kids come on their bus to a specific area and experience that particular area with the younger or the older Watershed Alive team conducting it.
So I'm wondering about the whole watershed issue. Why is it so important?
Well, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
We'll see.
Oh, no, you're such a teacher.
I know, I am. Okay. Do you live in a watershed?
I guess I do. I guess everyone does.
That's exactly right. Everyone lives in a watershed, and a watershed is where the water runs over, through, or around, okay?
Yeah.
And then it goes into a specific area because of the gravity and the hills, and that area that it runs into is usually a river, and then the river carries it, and so it's known as that particular river, like the Calaveras watershed or the McCallamy watershed or the Stanislaus watershed.
So after the fires, the watershed would have changed a lot because
It does.
the runoff is different?
The erosion, there's
Okay.
a lot of runoff, a lot of erosion. There's the trees that need to be replanted, restoration that needed to be taken care of, and this is another area we've had kids involved in the restoration process and the replanting of trees in the Butte Fire area. It hit home to a lot of kids in Calaveras County, of course, and a few in Amador, not as many homes there, but we had families coming out and replanting, learning about what the importance of placement of trees. The Butte Fire was a good indication of a watershed that had overgrown. There was a watershed that had overgrown, so we had a lot of underbrush, undercarry, and then it was leaping up, into the trees very quickly, and there was a lot of fuel, a lot of fuel.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then with the drought being there, but these are all things that kids have an opportunity to learn firsthand by touching, feeling, using their senses.
And it probably makes them feel really great about themselves to be able to do something to improve the area.
They do.
Yeah.
They come back feeling great,
Yeah.
and also feeling that they are a part of, that they're a real part. And I think that that's something that oftentimes is missed today is kids, families move a lot.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of roots for kids, but it gives them those roots, especially when they are interacting with agencies, different people on the outside of the schools.
And to be taken seriously and listened to. That is really neat.
And
I love, this is something that that I think is just part of you. You've done this forever. Even when my son was in school and you had different activities that they would do, where the kids would be there, and I would be there as, helping as a mom, and I'm thinking, oh my God, this is so cool. I actually remember these experiments that you did. Do you remember when you mapped out on a sandbox, you put string down and had hidden some cow bones or things, and the kids were little archaeologists.
That was our dinosaur stage,
But I remember it. I remember how it felt. I remember how the kids looked as they were doing it. And people learn differently, and being able to get your hands into it.
That's a really, really good point. I believe that learning does not take place unless the senses are activated.
Yeah.
And so it's the activation of those senses helps the kids to learn. And also what I found is that when they take a part in it, they can make the connection with what they're reading at school.
Yeah.
So it's making a connection that is extremely important for the learning process to take place.
And it sticks.
It
seems
sticks.
to
That's
stay
the learning.
that way.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. Now, so when you talk about the ages of the kids, what's the youngest age that you're beginning with? Is it kindergarten, or is it the third grade that you mentioned?
Oh, no. We have all different ages, and you mentioned something that's extremely important, is families. And families going out together to experience something is very, very important. Right. So when we had our field trips, you came along.
Yeah.
Okay. Parents need to take advantage of that. Get out of work. Go, whatever you can do to be with your child in, experiencing this firsthand with them, so that then it's carried on. Yeah. You can implement it in another fashion somewhere else. But we have all different ages. We have many different types of programs. One of our hugely successful ones is the aquarium program where we raise salmon in the classroom. And the kids, we bring the eggs from the McCallamy hatchery and put them into the classrooms. And this is in Amador, Calaveras, Tuolumne counties, the 3 counties. And they learn how important it is to take care of the water.
Right.
You know, the habitat that these eggs are in. And we simulate that in an incubator where the temperature has to be below 55 degrees, and they hatch, and they watch them go through the stages of alevin and then, you know, fingerlings. And they then release them back. There's a release day that we have, and they release them back into the river, and they name them, and you watch them swim away. And during that time, the release day, we have activities that, whether it's about the environment, the habitat, the riparian habitat, or whether it's about fish anatomy, or the sound of the rivers, and games, different games. And over 600 kids this year. We had over 600 kids come in over a 4-day period, and they come from the different classrooms. We had 21 classrooms participating in the 3 counties this year. So
that's huge.
Yeah, and it's a very it really emphasizes to them the importance of care of their habitat.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So when the classrooms go out, is that when their parents go also, or is it a separate program where parents and kids? Okay.
No, a field trip is a field trip, and I think parents should take advantage of going as much as possible.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I was kind of joking about how much I learned from all of that, but it's true. And what else I wanted to mention, as we were talking about families and how you're teaching everyone, is if I were homeschooling my kids and it was just me and my kids, they would only know as much as I know. And they would learn things the way I learned them. And my world is about this big because I don't like to get dirty. I have all these rules, and we'd go on these field trips with Mrs. Garamendi, and she would go in caves. I remember you doing this. You get dirty all in the cave. You'd go in a hole this big, and I'm like, how'd you do that? And she's like, come on, kids, get in here. And I thought, oh, my gosh, that's so neat, because if my kids were just with me, they wouldn't be doing those sorts of things. And I watched through you how excited they were, how much they learned. I wanted to be more like you. I think it's so neat that the parents go, that you allow them to go.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's extremely important that families take it on as a regular outings, to get out into nature and experience it in all the different seasons too, because so much can be learned through the animals and through the plants and through the different ecosystems that exist throughout all the way. And we, in our area, have such a fabulous opportunity that so many people don't. And when we stop to think about it, our kids sometimes don't have the same opportunity as kids even in the cities, because we transport kids from one place to another, back and forth, and it's usually to school, or it's to a sporting event, or whatever, but they don't have a chance to necessarily walk, to hear, to see, to smell.
We don't even have sidewalks.
Right, exactly. So, there's, we have to think about those things, that even in our area, we think of ourselves as rural, but that does not necessarily mean our children are getting out and experiencing things that they need to experience.
You're so right. Yeah. And then just learning how everything is connected.
Yeah.
I love that about what you're doing also. It's almost like, I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there.
It's like dominoes.
But it's like you go to this grocery store and you see this meat and a fish
Right.
wrapped, and is there. It's like magic. It's just,
yeah.
it's there.
Yeah.
And to see all the things that go from
Yeah.
the very, very beginning and their life cycle and where they end up and then how they help
Very
us.
important.
Awesome.
And I think the thing that our program has done has opened it up to the community to play a part in that. And I see that the collaborative effort that we have between different agencies. In fact, the program got started through the Central Sierra Resource Conservation and Development Company, and that was a nonprofit organization. And then we contracted with the Upper McCallamy River Watershed Authority, which consisted of 6 water agencies: CCWD, CPUD, Amador Water, East Bay Mud, Jackson Irrigation, and Alpine.
Wow.
So that collaborative group there then said, this is worthwhile. We need to get our kids out, let them learn about the water, let them learn about the things that, and let's meet with them at our sites. And so we have been able to open up so many sites for students, as well as the Forest Service. Sierra Nevada Conservancy has, we've gotten grants from them to do a guide through stewardship through education. It's
The
called
guide is a written guide?
Written guide.
Yeah.
It's online.
Okay.
And it's called Circles and Cycles. And in that are over 30 different locations in 3 counties: Tuolumne, Amador, and Calaveras. 30 locations with directions, how many people you could take into a spot at a time. It's for teachers, but it's also for parents. And then there are lessons that go before, during, after your field trip.
So perfect.
So a parent or a teacher has that open to them to get them out.
I took a peek at that part of your website before I came over here to the station. And you even have things, 3-year-olds, I think is what I saw on there. Like reading a map. Do you know, I'm 51 and I cannot read a map.
Well,
and I don't trust myself to read them. It makes me really nervous, and I'm looking at how you teach them from this size. I thought, God, that's so neat. What an important skill to have.
Well, just one of the bigger things.
I'm going to do the 3-year-old stuff when I get home. So.
Well, one of the things that is so cool is that it's amazing that kids are not aware of the 4 directions: north, south, east, or west.
I still don't know.
And where do you see the sun rise? Where do you see it set? What direction does our water flow here in California? Just things like that are really, really important to. And this is another thing that we're seeing in environmental education, is that kids today, and maybe adults, are very unaware of where they are on Earth.
Yeah.
Of where exactly are they? And something as simple as, where does your water come from?
Yeah.
It doesn't come out of,
The
your faucet.
Yeah.
There is a headwater, and we in our area have an opportunity to help our kids understand that we have a huge responsibility because we are the headwaters of some of the major water that goes to the bay, and
That's
it goes all the
incredible.
way. So,
It's so important to know for so many reasons. And what's funny is you don't know what you don't know. And then you hear these things and you're like, oh my gosh, it just starts a whole train of questions and wonder. And it's just really neat that you do this.
yeah.
I think it's
well,
so
thank
neat.
you. I think it is, we've seen fabulous results.
Yeah.
And feel that it is very, very important for our community as a whole to be educating our young people as well. And I said, what's wonderful about it is there's no better teacher for an adult than their own children.
True.
And so helping the kids to understand, bringing the parent along, discovering together, and then expanding it while they're not necessarily in school is very important.
Oh, the difference between reading about something in a book and doing things the way you do them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you realize this, but something that makes you different also from other teachers. I went to a little Catholic school. I loved it, but we had the same teachers the whole way through and the same little classroom, 1st grade through 8th grade, same kids every single year. We just moved from one room to the next. Mm-hmm. And I love so many things about it. But after my kids started going to school, in a public school with a ton of kids and a big variety of teachers, I fell in love with certain people and certain ways of teaching. And you have a way of breaking things down to the very beginning. And it all makes sense. Everything fits together. And
thank you.
It's such a gift that you have. It really is. Is there any way that the kids maybe in San Joaquin can come up here?
Well, they do.
They do. Okay.
We have San Joaquin coming up. We have, they have done the program, the fish, the salmon. We also have people coming in from Sacramento, some of the younger. It's extended. It's definitely
because I got to hook up my old
gonna...
Catholic school. I got to call the sisters and tell them to get in touch with you.
Well, yes. I think one of the things, Tammy, that I do want to say is it really makes it difficult is the cost of transportation.
Tell me how.
And so if there's ever anything that people can do, it is donate for a field trip. It costs for a bus to take off and go to something pretty close. For instance, let's just say Valley Springs to McCallamy Hill for the day is over $200.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And sometimes that keeps teachers or schools from getting out of their classroom is the cost of transportation. And the more that we find ways or grants or funding to help fund the transportation, the more kids I think we can get out into the environment. And that's really what is trying to be, right now, the emphasis in education is on the kids connecting with the community and making things experiential and real.
Yeah.
And we can't do that sitting in a classroom as
right.
So.
Do you have a like a PayPal link or anything on your webpage that people can go?
I don't, but that might be a great idea, huh?
Yeah, so make it nice and simple to
just click
send you some
and
money goes right into an account for you.
Go into the transportation account, huh?
Yeah.
That would be a great idea.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. I'm not very good on the computer, but if you know how to do it, that'd be great.
Yeah, and then if someone did want to actually write a check and mail it to you, is there a P.O. box or a place where they should be sending it?
Yeah.
Do you happen to know that? Or would it be on the website?
Yes, it's on the website.
What's the web address again?
steonline.org.
.org, okay. There it is on the screen. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And do you need grant writers, or do you have people who do that?
We always love to have grant writers, yes.
Oh, I bet there are people watching who have that talent who would be
that would
happy
be
to
great.
help you.
And, it's meeting the needs of our whole community, a lot of communities. The communities I've been involved in more than San Joaquin, probably in Sacramento, have been the 5 counties, which would be Calaveras, Tuolumne, Amador, and Alpine, and northern Mono. So that's sort of the area that STE has really been focused on as far as different programs, and our partners are in those counties.
As you're talking, I'm thinking of people I know who have interests in these things that you're teaching. Do you know Dennis Mills and
I don't.
And my friend Patrick? I have to hook you up with these people. These are men who that I know who are they're brilliant, and they're both educators.
Yeah.
And I would love
we always are looking for community members who would like to share their expertise, and that brings me to the other thing that I really feel we need more of, and that is mentoring.
Oh, definitely.
when I grew up, our whole little community mentored, the kids in a way, or we were. Well, I was alongside my dad a lot and my mom at the ranch, but that's missing now. We don't have those opportunities as much, and if people would share their expertise with younger people, even, retired people that are retired or close to retirement and like to share some of those things. And that is what's so needed in our schools, or going into the schools and sharing. Yeah.
There's, I do a Grief Buster program at our hospice where we work with kids who are grieving the death of someone they love. A lot of the time it's a parent, or they're being raised by their grandparents, and one of their grandparents dies. And that missing man or woman in their life is huge. Yeah. And any of us, though, can help fill that spot. We'll never fit it exactly. No. But boy, we sure can help fill a void.
We can. And nature does it also. Yeah. So getting, I know that was one of the bigger things with the Butte Fire, is getting the kids out there. And a lot of them, their homes were gone. Yeah. But they were out there replanting and starting anew and with a refreshed view of things.
They're going to be able to show their grandkids. Yeah. Yeah. So. I planted that tree right there. Yeah. That is so neat. Yeah. So is there anything else? We have like 2 minutes left. Anything else that we should bring up that you want to talk about? I want to make sure you get any help that you could get for your program.
I can't think of anything right now other than what I've mentioned. And if they go on the website, I also have my cell number there if they want to contact me. We have different programs. We usually have a cost associated with one of the educators, one of the team members going out with a group of 20 kids. So it's usually 1 to 20. And there's a slight cost to it. But
and that kind of thing, too, I don't mean to keep throwing all these ideas. I'm always thinking about things like this. But maybe on your webpage, if there was a little section that showed, if you donate this much money, you're helping a class of 20 go. Or if you donate this much money, you're paying for the bus ride.
You're good on PR. I might have to employ you.
I'd love to help you in any way I can.
Thank you.
If any of you have any ideas or things you can share or things you can give to Miss Garamendi and to her program here, please do. Find her on her website. Share her website on your Facebook pages and anywhere that you can to help get the word out. I think that you are, like I said, she's a star.
Well, thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I am so happy to see you.
I know. It's been a while.
Please come back anytime.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time on Tammy's Window on Calaveras.